Welcome to the Harjit Prayer Show with your host, Harjit Prayer.
Hey Harjit, how's it going, dude?
Hey, Prayer. It's going.
That's cool. Sweet.
Yeah,
I just noticed these lights behind me look like they're coming out of my head, like antenna.
yeah.
That's not
I
cool.
just noticed
Whatever.
that too, actually. It looks
uh,
like those, the sabers, from
sure.
Wars or something like that.
Gotcha. Well, I
Yeah,
have to confess something to our fans. I said a bad word yesterday, like a
you
really
did.
bad. Yeah, it was the F word. So I go to drop off my car, and it's an older car, and to get an oil change, and park it, turn it off, go to the open the door, and the indoor handle snapped off.
Oh,
And that's when I'm like, what? And then I said the word, and I'm like, oh, that was bad. And then I'm like, how am I going to get out of here? And so, not thinking straight in the heat of the moment, I went out the passenger side door, and then I was like, duh, I could have rolled the window down. And
and
then,
open it from the outside.
yeah,
Yeah. Sometimes the smartness is
yep,
questionable.
yeah. In the heat of the moment of something simple like that, I'm like, what?
We all do that, actually.
Yeah, yeah. And so I was like, "Are you kidding?" Like, I'm happy it happened there, so that I could ask him, like, and he's like, "Dude, like, that's gonna be like $175 to fix that."
Oh,
Like, oh my God. So
just
I'm
for a
looking at
handle.
yeah, just for a handle. I'm like, let me think about that. So I
Yeah.
got the oil change, and I'm gonna wait on the see how it works out. But yeah, dude, I don't say that word a lot, but man, I was just like, oh, what in the world, really? So.
So maybe you can get someone to, or Joe to uh,
3D
use.
print one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
three.
that's a good idea, actually. I wonder.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Hey, Joe,
Anyway,
get him one.
yep,
Anyways, yeah, so it's good. It's good. Things are busy. We're already like what in the second week of July, and
yep.
next thing you know, someone like me here in Vermont, next thing you know, summer is gonna be over. It's like what? Where was it? So, anyways, well,
Yeah,
did you have a nice Fourth of July?
yeah, it was fun. Very low key, just hanging out,
Okay.
and we had lots of fireworks going off in the neighborhood. They're allowed to do that down here because the if you're doing it for agricultural purposes to scare the birds away, you're allowed to set off fireworks.
Ah,
So apparently, there's a big problem with birds on July 4th in our area.
so
So
there's a loophole.
exactly.
Nice.
But what's been really interesting is that I don't remember like getting thunderstorms like this last summer, and like it's intense. I left my office, and I'm like, I hear the lightning going. I mean, I see the lightning and I hear the thunder. I'm like, let me wait a few minutes. So I waited. I didn't hear anything, but it's still this torrential downpour. And so, like, all right, I'm gonna go. And it was raining so hard that I have my Ignite backpack from last year that I put everything.
And
The
so,
inside got soaked,
oh
like
wow.
it just everything seeped through. And then my laptop
Yeah.
is in there, so I'm drying everything out. My journals are in there. I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. But the scary part is, the lightning came back, and at one point the rain was like going from right to left. I'm sorry,
Yes.
west to east. But then it started like spinning around me, changing directions.
Mm.
Like I'm like, holy crap, is this the start of a tornado or something? I was freaking out. Then I see my car, and it's in the middle of like a 3-inch pond. And I'm like, oh God. And so like
My shoes are gonna be soaked and
my shoes are
yeah,
going to be soaked, and I am now a conductor for lightning. If like because previously I'm wearing rubber, yeah, the
yeah,
rubber on my sneakers would have protected me, but oh my gosh, it was freaky, like how huge that one was. And we've
yeah.
had a few like that. And so it's like when I'm at work, when I hear the thunder, I get out, I leave pretty quickly. So
Okay.
yeah,
At least the positive thing is that you didn't break your door handle at that time.
that would have been horrible. Yeah, that would have been pretty bad. But yeah, it was. I had to actually like. It was so bad. It was coming down so hard. I couldn't drive. I'm like, I'm just gonna wait. Like I could barely see anything.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's really, I love thunderstorms, but like I like to watch them, not be in the middle
Yeah.
of it. So that was an experience.
All right.
But it's been getting hotter, which we expect. But it's nice.
Yeah, it's been like in the high 80s here, so it's
Okay,
been okay. But we got a pool and stuff like that, so that's why we used at 4th of July. It was really hot on 4th of July.
got it.
We went to the parade. We always do the parade thing, and then this year instead of going to our relatives, we invited folks to come to our place instead because we have the pool.
Okay,
So we just basically like ate, and you're in your swimsuit all day long, and then just jump in, jump out, that kind of thing. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
that's cool. We went to a parade as well in a little town called Micanopy, which is
Okay.
just outside of Gainesville. And I told my girls, hey, like we consider July 4th to be the birthday of America, and so as you're saying hi to all the people in the parade, make sure you say Happy Birthday, America. And so they're like yelling it out
Oh
and
my
stuff like
God.
that. And at one point, the lady next to us said, I have never seen more patriotic kids than I've seen in your girls today. I'm like, well, thank you,
Awesome.
thank you so much. Yeah, it was really nice.
That's awesome.
We had a blast. Day
Yeah.
off, just hanging out with the family. Really good barbecue.
Awesome.
So, yep.
Yeah, speaking of fireworks, in Montreal, they have a fireworks competition, international fireworks competition, usually in the month of July. And it's usually on Wednesdays and Saturdays. And it's a different country that does it. So it'll be like Spain or, France and China and, Canada and things like that.
Okay.
So, and we're not talking about just a, couple of minute kind of a thing. We're talking about like big time fireworks, and it's, over the water, and they close one of the bridges that actually where you cross over into the island of Montreal. So then it's just pedestrian only and stuff like that. So I
Okay.
think we're gonna do that this Saturday and just check it out, have dinner there, and then check out the fireworks. So this time I'm gonna bring my camera and try to figure out whether the bulk mode for my Sony, because I don't want to bring my Nikon. It's just too bulky and heavy and stuff like that. So
Sure.
I'll figure something out. But yeah, anyways, so this week is Patch Tuesday week for
Uh-oh.
July. So patches are out, as usual.
Mhm.
Patching. But there are some security stuff. I think we're gonna focus this episode more into some of the security things that have been happening, some news and stuff like that. Did you want to start off first with something that you have? Or?
Yeah, so the only thing I really have is that, recently there's been more media coverage of some of the municipalities that have been hit with ransomware,
Mhm.
and the boards of those municipalities have just paid the ransom to get their data back. And in
Yep.
Florida, after that happened, the municipality actually fired the IT
The
manager.
director.
Yeah, and so it's like, all right, this is being taken really seriously. And just today I read that the I guess the United States has a consortium of mayors across the country, and they signed a resolution saying like, no more, we're not going to pay ransoms anymore. Like, that's it. Just as like a consolidated front, like, you're not going to get to us this way. I'm sure like along with that comes better security practices that have been
Right.
clearly there's been a lapse somewhere. So we'll see how that happens. If the data will show whether, along with just saying this, there has to be some action that goes along with it, right? So we'll
Right.
see what happens.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
So
And so one of the interesting ones this week is Zoom, the video conferencing software called Zoom, right? It's very popular, both for Windows and Macs and stuff like that. So, but this time, this vulnerability was disclosed. It only affected Macs, from what I understand. It was just for the Mac clients. I didn't pay too much attention to it, but apparently, like when you install Zoom on Macs, it actually, I think it has like a web service or something like that gets installed as well.
Okay.
So it's basically, it allows this vulnerability allows again a malicious website to hijack the user's web camera without permissions. So there was, I think if I read it correctly, like even if you dragged and dragged the application and dropped it into the trash and got rid of it, it still actually was not good enough
Gotcha.
to fix this issue. So that took a couple of days, but then they did release a fix, an emergency fix to to patch this webcam hijack flaw, they call.
That's
So we'll try to
crazy.
put some links in our show here, and so people can check it out. But yeah, so if you're using Zoom on Mac and you didn't hear about this, well, now you know.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cool. You got some more there too, I see.
Yeah, yeah. So the other one, well, I'll get back to that one. The other interesting one that I came across, so a lot of this information is actually in the Tech Connect group on Facebook. So if you're a member of my Tech Connect group, you'll get this information. If not, please feel free and join. And this is where a lot of stuff is shared. So this one is about the Logitech Unifying receiver. You know, the little dongle that you stick in your USB on your laptop to manage your mouse or keyboards from Logitech, right?
Yep.
You can have
Mhm.
multiple devices using that one unifying receiver. So apparently there is a vulnerability for that too, for some key injection attacks.
Right.
So, but according to some folks in Tech Connect, they were saying this is it's nothing new. It's been around. This is because it uses RF technology and stuff like that. So,
Right, but in order to actually compromise the receiver, the attacker has to have physical access to it. That's the key. Like it can't be done remotely yet.
Yeah.
So that's important to note.
Yeah. So, but it was new to me. So I'm really not surprised about some of these vulnerabilities that are coming out, and that for everyday things that we use. You've probably heard of the hot pacer stuff, right? And those also have vulnerabilities that were discovered, I don't know, last year or something like that.
Sure.
Someone could hijack that and then cause the thing to change and kill the person. If unfortunately, that would be the end result. Then there was another one recently where it was something to do with another medical device or something. I can't remember whether it was an MRI system or a CT scan or something like that was
Okay.
also vulnerable. So I mean, it's everyday stuff, like things that are in our home that we don't even think about, right?
Right.
A refrigerator, for example.
Yep.
If it's connected to the network, that's what it is.
Sure.
So that's that. And then what else we got? Okay, so this is very interesting. This one is called, so this is apparently Microsoft has given a warning about a fileless Astaroth attack. I don't know, do you know much about this? It's something about a fileless malware attack campaign that completely lives off the land or something like that they call, and it's basically to escape detection and stuff like that.
Yep. So basically, the only way to detect it is if you have some kind of if you have software that is able to do heuristical analysis of activity, then it will see like, oh, wait a minute, like this is doing things that match the signature of this particular attack. And the reason it's fileless is because it's basically it's running commands off your machine to create the compromise. So
yeah,
like you don't have the down.
Yeah. WMIC tool to run the script. That's what I understand. And in fact, you're right. The person who detected it was using a Windows Defender ATP. It was a Windows Defender ATP research team that first detected this particular vulnerability. So it's pretty cool. And then also there was, I think I must have missed this one. I think there was one vulnerability with malware bytes as well. That was maybe a little old, but I mean, it's just there's so many out there. You just have to keep up. Security is definitely a full-time job plus more, right?
Sure, absolutely. And you
Yeah,
gotta secure all the levels so that if something gets past one, you have other things that are, so your firewall, your agents on the machines running, if you have
yeah.
hosts, maybe, stuff running on there. So file integrity monitoring, like there's so many things you can do
There's so
to,
many. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you got to think of everything. It's just not enough just to do your regular patching and stuff like that
nope,
anymore. No,
definitely not.
no, no. Those are the old school days.
Hmm.
And then this is not really a vulnerability or anything like that. It's just it's a bug. I first discovered this through a tweet from Johan, our friend Johan Arewak, who's the SCCM and OSD guru out there. And this is about the PXE Boot that causes an error. It's a bunch of number status 0xC000 whatever. This only affects if you're using WDS, which is the Windows Deployment Services,
Okay,
uh, whether with SCCM or just standalone. So announced about. I mean, it was discovered like about a couple of days ago, and then there is a um acknowledgement from Microsoft, and they have provided a workaround to fix this
cool.
problem. So we'll share that as well. So those are some of the things that I had. But that's other than that, yeah, it just matters. So I'm on call this week. It's not a good week to be on call because my servers are going to be patching tonight, and when they
Giddy up.
do, yeah, they alert. And in fact, it's funny. I was up around 3:30, starting at 3:30 in the morning today,
Hmm.
um, because we got we got our regular, you know, campus domain or whatever, and then we have a guest domain, and there was a, a trust disconnect between the two, and so you had the some of the DCs from the regular domain, the main domain, like, hey, what's going on? Hey, lost trust relation, and I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, maybe they just rebooted. I'll just let it go for a while, whatever. And then they
Hmm.
just kept coming in, and then it's a different DC and a different one, and a different one. I'm like, holy cow! So I finally woke up and I'm trying to look at this, and I connected to them and looked at event logs. I'm like, don't really see anything here. They look fine. You know, they
Hmm.
look okay. I can authenticate. I can log in. I can do all sorts of things. And I found one entry, and it was something about the guest domain. I'm like, what the heck is going on? So sure enough, you know what the end result was? So we got two domain controllers in the guest domain for some reason or another. So those are not managed by SCCM or anything like that. Those are like kind of standalone. They just get their patches on their own or whatever.
Hmm.
Somehow around 3 o'clock or something in the morning, one of them ended up getting patches directly to Microsoft. Well, makes sense because it was Patch Tuesday, and right.
Sure.
Well, it didn't have a big enough hard drive.
Oh no.
It filled the drive, and then when it rebooted, so it didn't have enough space to do it, and that disconnected the trust.
Wow. That's crazy.
So finally discovered it like later this morning with a colleague. So oh my god. So added more space, I completed like patches, and yeah.
Yeah, hard drive space is good.
So not good when it keeps you up.
Yeah, and that's one of those things in the heat of the moment. You're like disk space used to be one of the things you would check right away,
Yeah,
right? Like, oh,
yeah.
what's going on? Do I have enough?
You don't
But
even
now,
look at that. You're like, oh, it should be okay.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
why, is there a firewall rule that broke the trust
Is there a
or
service that's broken
yeah,
or something, right?
sure.
That's what I was thinking too. I'm like, what could it be? What could it be? Was there a change made? Like, did someone make a change and it just got applied suddenly, like over time, or
Gotcha.
yeah, damn it. So,
That's
anyway,
wild.
so what else? What
Cool.
else you got?
Um, I don't have anything else. I did notice that there was I couldn't find the article again, but Microsoft is I don't know if Microsoft is saying this or a third party, but they're saying that Teams usage has surpassed Slack as far
Yeah,
as
I
number
I
of
saw it was
chats
like
a day.
it was like a huge number too. It was like was it like 100 million? I can't remember.
I don't know about that high. I think it was
It was pretty high. It was pretty high.
like in the millions, but not 100 million. So I thought that was like, okay, that's
Yeah,
interesting. But
it
like,
was in the millions.
how do
Yeah.
you like? Is it just like number of messages, or I would want to look at the data to see like, all right, what does this actually mean? So
Yeah. It could be accounts. It could be, I don't know. They
yeah,
have
how do
all
you?
sorts of telemetry, man. I'm telling you, it's like even with config manager. I mean, they know how many what versions are out there. How many have upgraded to the latest version? How many are still at this version? How many are that? They got all accurate numbers because it's actually talking. It's calling home, right?
Yep,
So it's pretty cool.
neat.
So yeah. So that's all I had for that stuff. Anything fun you ate, drank?
Well, July 4th, they're not too far away from the parade is this barbecue place that I've been wanting to check out. And so, I was like, we were right there, so I told my wife, "Hey, do you think we could stop there and get something?" And she's like, "Absolutely." So we went there, went in with my youngest, and of course, everybody from the parade was there as well. So
Yeah.
it took a while. It took a while to get our pulled pork sandwiches, but oh my god, it was so good. I mean, I was like, I don't know how how are we going to be able to get back here again to eat this more frequently? Even my wife was like, "Oh man, I missed good barbecue." So we were very,
Yeah.
very excited about that. And a
For
new
my
taco.
fourth. Yeah,
What's
go
that?
ahead, finish up. Yeah.
Oh, and close to my office, a new taco place opened
Oh,
up. So
okay.
that's like, oh man, another place that's close
Another
by,
place
and
to try. Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, oh, I resist the temptation to not bring in lunch, but it's like fantastic
Yeah.
tacos, like
We
pretty.
have we have a place here on Fridays, Friday evenings. It's called Arts Riot, and they close this area. It's like it's actually a building. It's a very artsy kind of an area, artsy, and that kind of a place.
Mhm.
So they'll close off, and then they'll bring food trucks, bunch of food trucks, and then it's like everybody will show up. It's beer and everything like that. And then you're like, hey, today I just want to have tacos from this one, or I want to have the naan and something from this one and stuff like that. So it's pretty fun.
That's
But
awesome.
4th of July, what I did is I made tandoori chicken.
Hmm.
So I've got the spices for it and stuff. I marinated it the night before, got it all set, stuck it in the barbecue, and then I have a colleague at work. He's Indian from India, and he's here temporarily. So he's working with us on a temporary basis and stuff like that. And yeah, him and his wife, they got a little baby. He's about a year old, and so they kind of alone. I'm like, hey, come on over, have fun and stuff like that. And so they brought a curry dish, um, and it was on the drier side, but it's masala chicken. And
Hmm.
oh my freaking god, it was amazing. It was like just amazing, yeah. And then they made some
Awesome.
dal too, and that was amazing too. So the Indians made the Indian stuff, and then we had the Caucasian. They had the hot dogs and the
Hmm.
the usual, potato salad and all that stuff.
Yep. We haven't bought a grill since we moved, and I'm like, I miss the homemade hot dogs and hamburgers. I'm like, oh my gosh, we used to do this
We
at least
use our
once a
grill
month.
all the
So,
time, even in the
yep,
winter time.
sure.
It'll be like snowing and freezing outside, and we'll use our barbecue.
yeah,
All
we
yeah,
definitely did that too. Our neighbors thought we were crazy,
yeah,
but I'm like, I want barbecue. What's the problem? Who says we
yeah,
can only do it when there's? Yes, I'm wearing a winter overcoat and gloves and a hat because it's a snowstorm, but I'm having barbecue.
exactly,
Yep.
exactly.
All right, so it's getting to that time of year where it's conference season.
Yeah, actually, it's yeah, exactly. It's going to be a season of conferences starting, I think, next month, August. I know there's Black Hat coming up, and then there's VMworld also in August, I believe.
Yep.
And then you have Tech Mentor that's in Redmond, and then they'll have another one in December in Orlando. You have Ignite in November. You have MMS, MMS Jazz Edition. That's going to be in New Orleans. That's also in November. And then maybe something in between, right?
Sure.
Yeah, so the reason we bring this up is that if you're planning to go to any of these conferences, and if you, whether you've been to one before or not, get your approvals as soon as you can, because some of them will sell out really quick. And then you had some advice as well.
Yeah, if you have the approval and you haven't registered, the other thing you need to think about is all the logistics. So you can get your flights early to get better pricing, and also the big thing for a lot of people is hotel availability. Get registered, and if you can get a hotel right away, do it so that you can get the one that's closest to the venue or convenient to however you're going to get between the venue and the
Yeah,
hotel and stuff like that, because it could be available today and gone tomorrow, and people are like, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow, and then it's gone. So it's definitely a good idea to get all that stuff just done and then work out the minute details later on. But like registration for the conference, travel information, and hotel, just get it done.
And you also get into the once you register and stuff, then you get into the mode of like, okay, I'm going. So now you start, doing your networking piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
You start looking for social events. You start looking for people that are also going, and connecting, whether it's on Facebook or whether it's on Twitter, and other, like the crew and things like that. So yeah, so get into the mode and get ready for a lot of conferences coming up.
Yep, definitely.
We're not even talking about those in Europe yet. I mean, there's a bunch over there too. So
sure. Cool.
All right.
Awesome.
Let's call it a day.
Sounds good, man. Well, I am Prayer, and you can find me on Twitter at the IT Jedi, and also on Instagram at the IT Jedi.
All right. And I am Harjit, and you'll find me on Twitter as @Hoorge, Hoorge. I'm also on Twitter, on Instagram, but it's not Hoorge. It's just my name, Harjit.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah. All right. Cheers, guys. Until
See
next
ya.
time.